자꾸 몇 번씩 굴려 좀 기다려줄래 어떻게 난 말려든
Hi guys, I'm Seonkyoung and today I'm super happy to team up with Discover Korea Live 2021 and Korea Tourism Organization New York. Today I'm going to show you all this Korean street food. I'm going to make tteokbokki. I know this is my favorite. I'm pretty sure it's yours too because I know you guys. And I'm gonna make mini gimbap to dip in the tteokbokki sauce. And lastly, Korean street toast. The tteokbokki in Korea is something from the kids to adults all enjoy on the street, at home, everywhere you eat, and I'm gonna show you how to make it. It's so delicious and very simple. We can't go to Korea right now, but when Korea is open, I cannot wait to travel back to Korea, eat all this delicious Korean street food. But before that, we can make these recipes at home and feel the Korea, you know what I mean? I know you guys love Korean drama, K-pop, Korean food, and so you guys will love it. So I just pour some water on my pot and I'm going to add rice cake, which is tteok, the main ingredients for tteokbokki, into the water. When I cook tteokbokki, usually I make all the red sauce already, bring it to boil, then add all the ingredients and the rice cake and the fish cake and stuff like that. But I saw this street vendor in Korea. She actually boils the tteok in sugar water. And that so much makes sense to me because the tteok will absorb and get tender first before it coated by that delicious red sauce. Don't surprise how much sweetness goes into tteokbokki because tteokbokki is almost like a kind of dessert level of sweet things goes in. I'm gonna stir and we're gonna bring this to boil. By the way, all the Korean street food I'm making today is plant-based. Can you believe it? Street food, plant-based and healthy? Yes, please. So instead of 어묵, which is Korean fish cake, I'm going to use this tofu sheet. They are nice and thin, like sheet like this, very similar texture and look as a Korean 어묵 for tteokbokki. So this is perfect. You can find tofu sheet really easy at your local Asian grocery store at the refrigerator section or freezer section. So I'm going to cut them in half in lengthwise. You can cut them into rectangle or triangle. I like to do triangle, just like this. And you will need some green onions. Green onion is one of the main fragrance and ingredients for tteokbokki. To your taste, you can add some carrots, like a shredded carrot, or some shredded cabbage, whatever vegetable you wanna add. And some onions will be super delicious too, but I'm going to keep it super simple, like the real Korean street style. 야, 내가 본 거기 아줌마는 설탕이야. 설탕을 썼는데 물이랑 설탕이랑 1대1이었어. My rice cake in the water, the sweet water is started boiling. I'm going to add gochujang, Korean red pepper paste. So this is the main sauce for tteokbokki. Gochujang looks a little scary because they are super red, but they're really not that spicy as it looks. They are actually spicy, sweet, tangy, like a lot of flavor in here because they're fermented chili paste sauce. Super delicious. You can find gochujang really easily at your local Korean or Asian grocery store, or you can just order online. They will deliver to your door. Super easy access nowadays. So when the gochujang is all the way incorporated, this is time to add a little flavor, which is a little more gochugaru. Gochugaru is like Korean red pepper flakes, but fine one, only if you want a little more extra spiciness. You don't have to if gochujang is spicy enough for you. And it also will make the tteokbokki a little more red color. And a little bit of soy sauce to season. Because even though gochujang is a little salty, it's not quite enough saltiness. So just a little bit of soy sauce. Don't worry, soy sauce is not gonna change the tteokbokki color, not that much. And my secret, but when you're making tteokbokki without the broth, this is the must. 다시다. 엄마의 손맛, 다시다. It's a Korean mushroom seasoning. I mean, if you don't like 조미료 like this, you can skip it. But if you want the true street food taste, 조미료 있으면. Yeah, I need to change my spoon. I changed the spoon. It looks the same, but it's different spoon, okay? No double dipping, even though I love double dipping. So nobody touches my food. And now this is time to add our amuk. Oh, this is a lot. Reduce the heat to medium-low and let it simmer until sauces thicken. And we're pretty much done. You could boil the tteokbokki a little longer if you want thicker sauce, but I love this consistency with extra tteokbokki sauce, like because it's more like a 국물 tteokbokki in Korean that a lot of like kind of soupy tteokbokki. That's like what I like. But like I said, if you want a little more thicker sauce, simmer a little longer. 한 입 또 먹어봐야지. 자꾸 먹어봐. 파가 들어가면은 맛이 휙 바뀌어. 맛있지?
Wow.
And you can eat tteokbokki as it is, but in Korea, we never, oh, by the way, I need to put some sesame seeds. Korean food all finish with sesame seeds. But anyways, you can enjoy tteokbokki as it is, but in Korea, we never eat tteokbokki by itself, ever. When we order tteokbokki, you order a little bit of 튀김, which is the deep fried food, or you order a little bit of sundae, which is the Korean black sausage, or you order a little bit of gimbap to dipping in this tteokbokki sauce. You know what I mean? And today, I'm going to show you how to make the mini gimbap. It's perfect to dipping in the tteokbokki. To make gimbap, we need to prepare our rice. So I have cooked white rice. I like to use a short grain rice, but you can use medium grain as well. Long grain is really not that great rice to make gimbap because they don't really stick together that well. So anyways, we're gonna season the rice with some sesame oil, crush the sesame seeds, we call 깨소금, pinch of salt. So when you're mixing the rice like this, you wanna make sure that you don't smash down the rice, but more of a kind of cutting the rice like this. So you can actually slightly cool the rice and separate the grains a little bit. So all the seasoning will go onto each grain of rice. You know what I mean? The rice is done. Now I'm gonna cover with a kitchen towel so they don't dry out or cool down too fast. And I'm just gonna set aside. And let's make the filling, which is spinach. So this is a blanched spinach. I already blanched them in salted water and rinse them under cold water and squeeze all the excess moisture. Let's season with some sesame oil again. Crush the sesame seeds. Lots of them because I love sesame seeds. Generous pinch of salt. Some black pepper. And that's it. Mix everything together with your hand. In Korea, we call this 손맛. And obviously in street vendors, they will use a glove, but at home, when your mom's or grandma's making, they will just do it with neck and hand like this. The flavor will come out from the hand. And actually scientists, they prove that when you're mixing 나물, like which is Korean vegetable side dishes, mixed with bare hand, increase the flavor. You know why? The human temperature makes the seasonings and the vegetables gathering together like really nicely so they taste better. You can add some garlic here if you want, but I'm actually making this only for gimbap, so I'm going to skip the garlic. Tastes right. Okay. The next vegetable we need to prep is carrot. This is a shredded carrot. I shredded it earlier and I put a generous amount, pinch of salt, and let them sit a little bit. You see that little bit of moisture coming out, like right here. Squeeze that water out and putting into a pan. You don't have to rinse them because we are going to season the carrot anyway. They're done, so I'm just gonna let them cool a little bit over here. And meanwhile, let's cut our 단무지. 단무지 is Korean pickled radish. I like to use the white one, not the yellow one, because I just prefer not to eat the colors. Cut the 단무지 into 1/4 inch thick, one matchstick size, or you can cut like me, which is almost kind of shredding it. And I like the texture of when they are super fine and kind of few of them getting into the mini gimbap. It's just more fun to chew. It's time to make gimbap, and gimbap's pop means rice and gimbap's gim means seaweed. Kim, my previous last name, Kim. So I prefer to have this gim or seaweed toasted. We are cutting the seaweed, the gim, into 1/4. So you can use a scissor like me, like this. Or you can actually use a knife too. Let me show you. Like this, and just go like this. I personally like to use a knife because it actually cuts a lot clear. For this gimbap, you don't need that gimbap roller or sushi roller that made with bamboo or silicone or stuff like that because they're so tiny. All we have to do, take one gim and make sure this rough side up, shiny side down. So spread it evenly and push the rice a little bit, but not too much to like the rice to smash down all the way. We still wanna enjoy the grains of rice, you know what I mean? Okay, now I'm gonna put the spinach. And to make this really street style, you wanna make sure some of the vegetable actually hang outside a little bit. Not like a really clear and trying to line up with the gim. Don't do that, because that's not what street vendor ajumas do. So the attitude to make this gimbap is, I don't care what it looks like, I just need to hurry up, make 1,000 of this and go home today. And that's a little joke. All the street vendor ajumas are super sweet. They make their food with really a lot of cares and love. And now we just need to roll it up. Many mini gimbaps out there in Korea. And this is definitely my favorite style and the original style, the street mini gimbap, which has only spinach, carrot, and 단무지. That's it. Like having hams and imitation crab meat and 어묵, and those are little fancy versions. This is real OG Korean street vendor style. This is the last one I just rolled. It's so good. It's so simple, so good. To serve our mini gimbap, you can serve it as it is. For that street food look, we need to bring them to a plate, one layer at a time. I'm going to brush them with some sesame oil. Oh yes. In Korean cooking, there is never too much sesame oil or sesame seeds. And of course, top it off with sesame seeds. This looks really just identical to the Korean street vendor gimbap mountain that you get to see on everywhere in Korea. 찍어 먹을까?
감사합니다.
찍어 먹어? The last but not least, for Korean street toast, this used to be my favorite breakfast when I was in Korea, that when I didn't have to cook in the morning. When I go to work in Korea, every subway station or street that I walk to my office, there's always this, it used to be like kind of more like a truck. They will make this on top of the truck in Seoul. And that's my memory, but nowadays there's so many Korean street toast little small vendors and restaurants out there. You can find this super easy in Korea. Must try as a breakfast, okay? But before we visit Korea, we cannot visit yet. So I'm going to show you how to make it at home, which is we need to make, I don't know why I grabbed the bowl. I need to grab the cabbage first. We need to slice our cabbage, green onion, and carrot for the vegetable in our toast. So a lot of Korean foods are very healthy and very heavy on vegetable because we like eating lots of vegetables. You could use some onions too, or whatever vegetable you want to use, but this is the basic ingredients or the vegetables for Korean toast. I'm just gonna skip the onion today since I'm using green onions anyway. In a bowl, and some carrot, some green onions, and crack an egg or plain-based egg, pepper, and mix them. I've been heating my skillet over medium heat. I'm gonna add a little coconut oil to toast my bread. You can use plain-based butter or regular butter, whatever you choose to use. You can use any sandwich toast or bread that you'd like to use for this recipe. In Korea, obviously we use white sandwich bread for this recipe, but I thought I would make a little more healthier with my everyday bread, which is multigrain sourdough. And add our vegetable and egg mixture. I think it's ready to flip over. Before I flip over, I'm gonna add a little more coconut oil on the side. This is really big, I know. So what we have to do is to cut them half and let them finish cooking, and we can build our sandwich. Bring your toasted bread. I'm gonna spread some mayonnaise. The important part of this Korean street toast, we always add sugar, because you know the sugar gives you power. If you forgot to drink coffee, sugar definitely gives you the sugar high. If you had this street toast in Korea and you're like, why this is so good? I don't understand. It's because of the sugar, okay? That right there. Only if you want a slice of cheese. Also, only if you want some sliced deli ham. I'm just gonna heat it up real fast on a pan like this so it doesn't cold on my sandwich. And then, bam. When Koreans eat eggs, we always put ketchup. Doesn't matter what it is, we always put ketchup. Vegan Korean street toast. 나는 김밥.
찍어 먹어. 김밥 뺀다 떡볶이입니다. 잘 먹겠습니다. Tastes like the streets of Korea. Good. Wow. You're right.
Man,
You gotta dip the.
Oh no. He's wrapping stuff inside of his gimbap.
Not working too well though.
And it's all vegan.
Oh yeah.
I forgot.
This is vegan? You sure? I mean, I watched you make it. But...
And this is how you eat Korean street food.
Stand
On the
up.
street, stand up.
It's a little messy.
Oh my god, this? Like it's a crime that it's vegan. Like it doesn't make sense.
맛있는데? Oh. You guys all can create this at home on your comfort. Right now, watch some Korean drama. Vincenzo is really good on Netflix, by the way. Or listen to some K-pop, make some Korean street food. You will feel like you are right in Korea, especially when you're cooking my recipe. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Give us thumbs up and subscribe my channel. And we will see you next time. Bye! Thank you for watching. Mwah.